Hey, you heard me and you're coming in half a second, huh? Alright, you're such a good boy. I saw, and I accidentally startled Morris was asleep in the chair the other day. Wait till I turn the heating pads on. You know, it was 59 out here this morning when I looked out the kitchen window with the mercury thermometer, and I can feel it's a little chilly out here. Where we're headed to Flat Rock, North Carolina today, it should be 10 degrees cooler than it is here for the high. So I'll have a little sweater in the car just in case I need it. Although we'll be there in the heat of the day, so I doubt it. Isn't this just the perfect morning coffee? I printed that yesterday. It's so darn cool. Hey, sweet pea. Hi. Good morning. Good morning. There you go. Good girl. Good girl. Hi. Hi. There's Morris. Things are coming right along this morning. Hi, bud. Hans already pulled Robot out. All of the drinks and food we're taking are in the car. I got stuff loaded up to put plants on so we don't get things dirty. We got Johnny's stuff loaded up. Hi, Morris. Hi. Sounds like somebody's power washing over on the other street. It has that power wash kind of a feel this morning. Where's my Stripey? Out on his patrol, I guess. Well, let me touch up fountain heights and the raccoon water bowl, and I don't have as much as normal to do out here this morning. Last important item to carry out, a Lego project to do on the way. Marty tried to go in the house. I had to tell him no. I never tell him no. Otherwise, he's going to be trapped a super long time, and we don't want that. Put air in the tires yesterday, made sure we're all good to go there. I'm looking for this address we typed in yesterday, 4 Leafy Glen Drive, Flat Rock, North Carolina. And I'm going to add a stop. And I found out that, okay, there was one way to add it that it always seems to put home at the end. And then there's another way to add it where it puts it at the other end here. If you press here, it adds stuff at the end, and if you do the little down to 3 dots, then it seems to put it at the top. It seems to do the reverse. Anyway, let's add Johnny now. I'll have to obviously rearrange it. Yep, Don's giving me help over here on this side. It's really hard on the screen when you that all I got to put in? Mr. Maple, yeah. Then Johnny, and then home, and it should figure out supercharger. And this is what it did yesterday. It said to charge in Gastonia both times, coming and going, and only, so the main difference is 2 stops, charger stops, instead of potentially 4 short, albeit short stops, but 4 stops. So anyway, it says 11:29 to Gastonia and 1:05 to Mr. Maple, and we were shooting to be at Mr. Maple around 1. Although they're open until 4, so we have a cushion. But that's about what we expected. All right. Tesla against a pack of bicyclists. What would you call a group?
Group, yeah.
Group.
Car, she's going around.
Oh, she's going around in a double yellow line.
Well, but she could see, and they're moving really slow.
Yeah.
I'm sure technically. But, I would have probably went around there. I might not actually went around quite as fast as she did. I would have waited a little bit longer around the curve.
Okay.
But she did that. And if the computer can't be wrong. They don't make mistakes.
I didn't say that, and neither did you, really.
All right, here we go. What's wrong, sweetheart?
Oh, she's turning right, not going straight. A lot of times we go straight. I thought she was going to pull out in front of it. Well, you had looked. I wasn't looking. Okay, I was still stuck back on the bicyclist and not comprehending the current. situation, a problem the car doesn't have. So just to be clear, we're doing the normal back road to get to US 1, to get to 421, to go to Greensboro. So cool. She did offer us the through the woods direction, but it's significantly longer.
Yeah, we don't want to do that.
It's 11 or 12 minutes longer, which today that's not. We might would do to go through Albemarle. See, this is where I tried to tell Tesla
we need
a supercharger near Morrow Mountain. Is it Morrow Mountain? Near Albemarle. Really, to get across this, to have that alternate route to get to Charlotte on those back roads, we need a supercharger. A level 2 charger that might be working at that one park in that direction, but that's not going to help anybody with significant travel across the state because it's not fast enough. Anyway, we would take the scenic route, but today time kind of matters. Bet there's a lot of people headed to Morrow Mountain for Labor Day just to have fun on the water.
Yeah, last day of summer.
If we were just headed out for a extra picnic, short walk, scenic view, that would be a good place to head. We're in Robot today, so my handsome husband doesn't have to keep his hands on the wheel.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Even though it was, well, first of all, I think that the difference was if we were just going down to see Johnny today, I probably would have taken Ruby.
Yeah.
But literally that hour, the extra hour of charging.
Well, it's more like 30 minutes, but it could have been an hour. Who knows until we actually did it.
Right. I believe if we optimized it, because they're only going to make 2 stops today. If you follow this thing, you would only make 2 stops at charging today. Anyway. The point is, it's enough difference. The trip is long. There's a lot of hours in the car that saving 45 minutes or 30 minutes was worth. Has value. In other words, taking a 6-hour trip and making it 6.5 hours, no big deal. But when you're taking a 10-hour trip and making it closer to 11, and then you're getting into some those longer trips, those extra out time on the end.
Yep, I totally agree. We crossed a threshold where we didn't care about extra time on the road, and I agree. The trip down to Johnny's and back is a no-brainer for us.
Yeah, because you got to stop
in either
anyway.
car.
Yeah.
But here, we'll be coming in, getting home sometime between 10 and midnight, depending on how long we visit at the 2 places we're stopping today. And so, we're going to be seriously tired then.
Right, and I got to get up and go to work tomorrow.
Yeah. We have an identical Juniper behind us. Well, I can't see the wheels, but Don saw it back there.
Yeah.
Way cool. We're on US 1 headed in the direction of Sanford. The back way.
I would say the person is driving.
Yeah.
Because it actually changed lanes and then the blinker came on. Right.
Well, they're coming up beside you now. They got out from behind.
Yeah.
And I'm having trouble with the camera, but anyway.
Well, I'll wave when they come by.
There they go. He waved back.
Yeah. I think he's got wheels. I don't think those are head cut,
I can't tell in motion which wheels, but anyway.
But he did wave.
Yep. Fine looking car.
Yeah. But I was right about the color.
Yes. It's not the diamond black. I think it's the stealth gray.
Right.
Not to be confused with like midnight silver metallic or whatever the other colors were. I think that's a golden chain tree, maybe. That was pretty with the yellow on the end. Yeah, or that's actually, you know what that is? That's Shumac. That's Shumac. Anyway, so Don and I are listening to Project Hail Mary it's been ongoing while we've been in the car here for a couple months now. Don had read the book.
Yep.
I had listened to the Audible book one time. It's excellent. If you haven't listened or read, it's coming out as a movie next year with Ryan Gosling. We're hoping it's going to be on the level of greatness of The Martian, because we keep on going back and watching Matt Damon in The Martian over, once every 6 months, once a year.
Once a year at least.
Yeah, at least. We're hoping this one is going to be just as good, but we've got 7 hours and 19 minutes left. I have to say, I think Don agrees with me, the narrator of this Audible book is doing an excellent job.
Yeah.
The way they chose to interpret the language of the other species in the book, it really works, the Audible thing. So if you're looking for a listen, I would just say it would be really fun to read the book or listen to the book before the movie comes out. I don't think this is one of those times where it's, that'll be a bad thing. So anyway, we're going to be listening to that some along the way today, and we've just gotten on 421 headed towards Greensboro now. It kind of, this just really shows why we don't go straight across to Charlotte. And you might have wondered, well, why are they always going on this? I'm trying to see if I can make the glare go away. Not really. There. Trying to, why don't they go straight across the state? Why do they always go up to Greensboro and come back down? And that's because it's faster. It's faster here by 10 minutes. It's been showing 11 minutes sometime. Plus, there's no charger that way. But mostly, even though it's less miles, it's lower speed roads, and so it takes more time. It takes more time. So a lot less resources that way. There's no sheets at every exit. There's no rest area to pull into, that kind of a thing. But certainly we have done that other route before, and there are things to see down that way, and it is a little more scenic.
Yep.
So one of the topics today, before I start our book, we'll finish this up with ourselves and then share it with you, is Don was trying to think of what thing in our lifetime has disrupted, not in a negative disruption, but has disrupted things for a change in us.
Totally doing different than I used to.
Right. Something that significantly changed in how we do it during our lifetime. So since Don came up with the topic and the disruption, I have a slight caveat to add to it. I'll let Don tell you.
Well, I guess the internet, what we're talking about is the disruption is going to be caused by FSD, and then on top of that, Optimus. Those two things I don't think we appreciate yet. I think the FSD thing is going to get, I think regulators are going to try to gum up the works on that. But I don't think the Optimus thing that's going to happen, because corporate America or people can't find, the minimum wage is high. You can't get people to work, you can't get them to show up, you can't do it. So if there's any business that has I'm gonna say low skilled labor or something, they're gonna jump all over Optimus. So there's gonna be a big disruption that way, and I think the unions, and I'm not faulting the unions, I'm just simply saying
Got a police officer, state trooper there.
I believe so. It said so. Well, we're doing 63, so I think we're good. There's going to be a lot of disruption there, and but it's going to happen because.
What's the speed here?
I think it's
55.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think honestly, I don't think they're trying to ruin everybody's weekend. They're just trying to catch the speeders right now. So I'm not uncomfortable.
My foot would have hit the brake, people.
Yeah.
Well, in the old days, I just would have downed the speed in FSD, but since the car doesn't listen to me anymore, I would have hit the brake.
Yeah.
Used to be, I'd see a police officer and I'd just hard click Ruby stop and Ruby drop 5 degrees, and it would be all.
I certainly don't want her to go over 65.
Yeah, currently your max is 69.
I don't want her to go over 65 for sure.
Okay. Yeah. So the internet was the big disruptor in our lifetime.
Right.
And then I said, I added that since one of the first, I had an eBay account since eBay was a thing. Like almost immediately I had an eBay. So that was the very early, I think that was the early to mid 90s. But really the online payment system, as much as the internet, significantly changed things for me, where you didn't have, Don brought up mail order catalogs. Now remember,
I used to order a lot of stuff from mail order catalogs. I don't know if anybody else remembers them, but my mailbox was full, and I used to fill out the little things and put them in the envelope.
Write a check.
Postage paid envelope, and mail it off, and a few weeks later, whatever I ordered would show up. I mean, and then it changed, and it was 800 numbers, and oh my God, I thought the 800 number was the greatest thing in the world, because you could call them up, and by then I had a credit card. You give them a credit card. The friction of consuming went down, and then of course the internet, they opened it up to incredible diversity of things that you could order. In other words, a lot of stuff I ordered through mail order, I did a lot of stuff at Brookstone, and because it was
Lily and Vernon,
right, it's stuff that
Plow and Hearth,
your local Walmart, Kmart, I guess Home Depot, but your local retailer didn't have 10 different varieties of the same fundamental thing, and yet you could find the variation on the internet, and in the mail order catalogs. And so that was I'm just simply saying is that I remember the amount of things I ordered, and it could be weeks sometimes, and I wouldn't order anything. But now, my God, even
Don Miller,
once or twice a week, I'm on ordering something to have it. It's a totally different way of doing something. I would never buy something in a local store, probably without looking on the internet. Not so much from the price, but to find the variations. Oh, well, this. Sometimes I see something in the local store, and I say, oh, I don't like that. I don't like that exact one. So I go on the internet and I find the one I like. And so
even Don Miller was doing shopping online. Obviously back in the 90s with eBay, I think the thing that revolutionized them and made that site successful was PayPal. And of course, now I know that Elon was behind PayPal. At the time, I didn't know that. So, I'm kind of awed for just a minute thinking about how significant a change he helped instrument in our lives back that far and that young in his life. Well, which, of course, he ended up selling it and et cetera, et cetera. But he thinks about bringing it back on X.
Well, I remember I did a lot of travel and professional services for IBM for Y2K. So back in 98 and 99, I was traveling all over the country. Well, in that window, that's when the internet was coming around. And of course, by then it wasn't, credit card. There's a big hullabaloo on the internet about using your credit card that, you don't know what you're doing. It could get out there. Where I was going with this is, I remember I bought a watch. I still have the watch. I love the watch. I didn't realize when I was buying the watch, and it was expensive. I think I paid $600 for that watch, and this is $600 in year $2000. So it'd have been well over probably $1,200 watch nowadays. When I bought that watch, I did not realize that I was buying that watch from a internet retailer, or somebody had a watch, Germany. It came from Germany. I didn't know when I bought that I was working with a place in Germany, and because it's a German watch, and it was like, wow, and that was mind-boggling when that thing came in from Germany.
Yeah.
And
now we don't think. Now we don't even There, you know, there's zero thought about, yeah, I guess we weren't really on 421 yet back there, were we? Now we're on 421. We were on 64.
Right.
Sorry. All those U.S. highways,
Yeah,
they kind of
well, you
blend
can't really
together.
do-
4-lane divided, yeah,
Yeah.
blah, blah.
Blah, blah. Exactly.
Yeah, but it was 64 before I misspoke. Yeah, so the internet and online payment systems, and there's, I'm sure, you know, if you can think of another great example that we're just taking for granted when didn't come to us, leave us a comment.
Right.
But now, obviously, FSD and Optimist are poised to make another significant
In other words,
disruption.
just like now it's 2025, and I was describing something that was around the year 2000, 25 years ago. Well, I don't know I'm going to be around in 2050, but it's possible, and I don't think it's going to take quite that long. But this next one, because of Optimus and if the AI, you know, it's going to be in everything. It's going to be very interesting to see how we humans adapt to that world. Are we going to be? Is growth going to continue to happen? In other words, our entire global economy, everything's predicated on growth, and you know, the GDP keeps going up. All these things is driving. In other words, are we going to shrink? Are we going to contract? And and that contraction is going to cause a lot of hardship. As long as we're growing, I think the hardship overall will be inconvenient, a little painful. But if we stop the growth, if the growth stops, if you know, everything, capital dries up, the freedom of movement, all these things happen, it could get very painful for a lot of people. I think it'd be far worse that when we shrink, because that's part of the issue, is that, you know, right now a lot of jobs have left Europe and gone to China. A lot of jobs have left the U.S. and gone to China, and we're quote trying to bring those jobs back. Well, those jobs, when they come back, they're not going to be anything like the jobs that left. So that's a little bit of a fantasy, that somehow when we bring the U.S. manufacturing back, that all of a sudden that's going to make us productive, or fix things. I don't know. I think it's the right answer. We need to be self-sufficient, or we need to have our supply chains where we know where everything's coming from, instead of depending on others. But this dust on this, how this is going to settle out, I have no idea. I think it's going to be interesting times.
Agreed. I don't remember if I thanked Don on video last night or not. If I didn't, I was thinking about thanking him on video. But I was out there in the front yard getting bit up by mosquitoes, like 15. I was doing the mosquito dance. I was absolutely miserable trying to water my plants. We haven't had rain in over a week, approaching 10 days. There's no rain in the forecast this week. Everything is getting really dry out there. Of course, the heat's down. And the humidity's down. It's late September temperatures, and late August is what we got. They said it hasn't been this cool in August since 1992. So at least I was alive then, but obviously that was a long time ago. Again, at the dawn of the internet for the common person. I realized the internet was around before that. But you know, in your home, like you could might be actually getting on the internet, was
dial up at 92s.
Right, dial up. Yes. Well, I remember all of that.
Bulletin boards.
Yes. I had a Commodore 64. I know. I just barely was here thanks to my father for the start of the internet. I had programs load from a cassette player until we got the floppy disk thing. I know all about it. Anyway, what was I saying? So Don came out and did that excellent partner in life thing and said, what can I do to help? How can I help you get done quicker? And I said, keep filling the watering cans for me, and, while I go water what I want watered. And between the two of us, we knocked it out, and I'm sure, about half the time. And so it was all good. But Don did tease me while I was out here. Well, in a few years, you'll just be having Optimus help you with this. And I said, yeah, God, I hope so. So I'm going to hold him to that, you know, maybe not the first year of Optimus, but I'm gonna, because even if I have to direct him, that'll be good. And Don said, oh yeah, you won't have to direct him, and oh, by the way, he'll know how to check the soil moisture for you, so he'll know which plant, he'll be efficient, and he'll know which plants need to be watered. So Elon, Tesla, you know, Optimus needs to have the ability to judge soil moisture so he can be useful in the garden. Just saying. Two more things about the trip. Don had charged up to 95%. He normally only charges to 70%. And he only plugs in once or twice a week if he absolutely needs to, because we're not putting that many miles on going to and from the gym. But anyway, it shows us getting to Gastonia, which is clear the other side of Charlotte, and still having 31% charge. So we will be pulling in at the rest area to use the restroom, because we can't make it to Gastonia.
Oh, no way.
There's no way. Anyway, we won't be pulling into Thomasville or Salisbury because we don't really need to charge, and it's a little longer on and off, but not by much at Salisbury. That Culver's is pretty easy to get in and out of.
Yeah.
Anyway, I picked up the Jane Austen, tribute to Jane Austen, set off of Bricklink. I did not get this as the GWP when it was out, and I kind of regretted it. I also didn't get the library one, and that's not what it's called, but there was a tribute to books or something. I've done plenty of bookshelves in my life. I've also done plenty of pianos on here. But anyway, I put in a parts order on Bricklink, and I looked and I'm like, oh, that seller has a tribute to Jane Austen for sale, and they're not charging an outrageous price for it. I think I'll just order that also. So that's how I picked this up. You can often find these GWPs on Bricklink or Facebook Marketplace for a reasonable price. I mean, some people mark them up double or triple the estimated retail price that Lego suggests for them. But a lot of people just, you know, they get it for free when they buy the other stuff that they bought, and they just don't care about it, and they just want to get something for it. So you can find them for reasonable. So anyway, I'm going to be putting together Jane Austen. I got a deal and I'm happy. So with our little quick stop, it's showing us getting to Gastonia at 11:36 and Mr. Maple at 1:10. I think that's, I don't remember exactly what the numbers were, but that's within, I want to say within 10 minutes, more like within 5 minutes. There is a big memorial here. You can walk down in there if you have time. I hadn't paid that much attention to the backside of that rest area before, but that's where Don drove around to this time. And anyway, besides the Blue Star Memorial marker, there's also another memorial, a bigger one with a walking area back behind there. My favorite rest area in North Carolina is the one that's on the way to the Blue Ridge Parkway. It's got solar and all kinds of gardens and flowers and a trail, and it's like a destination all on its own. It's a green building, whatever that fancy word is for that.
Sustainable.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say like a Creel, or there's another word for the official energy certification name, but anyway.
I think it's leaf.
Yeah, leaf, something like that. Yeah. Well, the lighting's not good, but you can see that it's all done. The Jane Austen sticker, the piano sticker, key stickers. I mean, excuse me, not stickers. Jane Austen and the piano keys are tiles, and the 3 photos and the music sheet are stickers. And this thing weighs more than you think. It looks like a cute little book on the back side. It's very thick in Lego pieces for that small profile of a piece. So it's heavy is what I'm trying to tell you. And it was a fun and cool build. My only complaint or criticism is that the 2 pieces, they have you put them together at the bottom with the bottom connector, which is this fancy round piece with 2 pieces coming out to the side. Kind of looks like a part of a solar array on a satellite. Maybe this way you'll see it. Anyway, it really won't stay together until you get the spine in and the top piece on. So you might as well just build the 2 sides separate, because I must have put it back together about 10 times and I was getting tired of putting it back together. It just won't stay until the rest of the pieces go on. So anyway, it was fun. Obviously, the Jane Austen tiled piece and the Jane Austen minifigure are exclusive to this set, along with the stickers. So just to say, here at 11:10 a.m., we're coming past University City Boulevard, which is the exit we typically get off, or one of a couple of exits we can get off. That guy come into our lane too?
Yeah, maybe I'm a little sensitive to people.
Well, after that happened a few minutes ago, a guy tried to change lane into us and Don took control.
Yeah, well,
who knows if he would have backed off in time or if the car would have moved us, but Don took control.
Yeah, I guess you could argue I and the car were on different, because I didn't feel like the car, if the car would have, I saw, like I said, the guy was going down the lane, and then I actually saw I was watching his wheels, and he was coming over. It was not a subtle movement. It was like, oh, I'm going to change lanes. And I'm surprised the car didn't pick up on that quicker, because maybe the difference is, had that guy touched the white line with the tire, the car would have reacted. But I was reading all the signals, and I was preemptively looking and said, that guy's coming into my lane. So that's the difference. Another blink of the eye, he would have been on the white line, on the dotted line, and I think at that point the car would have reacted, because it's oblivious. Anything outside the lane is not my problem. It's just in my lane. I'm worried about it. Outside my lane, I don't care. So, but I as a human care about all this stuff. That's my hypothesis.
Yeah, we did send feedback for why we had a disengagement. It's the first one today.
Yeah.
And Don actually saw what was happening, obviously, but I was building on my Lego, so when he jerked us out of the way, that obviously startled me. I did hit the dash cam, and I'm sure all these things, and I tell you guys, or I tell Don that X, Y, and Z happened, it never looks as bad on video as it felt to the driver.
Yeah, but there is one more thing that I'd like to point out. With the hands-free, they need to greatly reduce the torque on the wheel, because of course you can say, well, you were overreacting. I felt like I had to pull. It was like she's got like an iron grip on the wheel, and I had to overpower that to get her to respond. In other words, if I could have just put my hand on the wheel and drifted it over, I think that's all I would have did. But the abruptness of the real jarring effect was because all of a sudden the wheel broke loose, and that's what made it jump.
Right.
So I don't know, maybe when you're hands-free, they have to lock on the amount of grip she has on it. Maybe it ought to be a little lighten it up so it's very easy to get it disengaged. Because I noticed when you turn the blinker on and stuff like that, she gets real light on the wheel. You can disengage real easy when you turn your blinker on.
Well, I'm not meaning to be disrespectful here, but I'm going to be devil's advocate. But if your knee bumps the wheel and it's not so tight, then you could erroneously bump the wheel when you didn't mean to. I don't know. I'm sure it's hard, like so many things, to adjust it so that it's right in every situation. Right.
Yeah. That is fair, but I guess the knee bumping it is possible. Accidental brush up against it. I don't know. It's just, I felt like the part of the aggressiveness of my maneuver. If I would have been driving, it would have been hardly even, you would not even know, you wouldn't even looked up.
Right.
The whole reason you looked up was because when I jerked it out,
it was jerky.
It was really jerky.
Yep. Well, you can't see it now, but there's Charlotte over there, and if we were coming through on 77 instead of 85, we would be down there. But hey, I'm glad we're not down there.
Yeah.
But it was over there for just a second. I looked over and went, wow.
Well, where are we gonna go? Gastonia. How far is Gastonia? It's another 24 minutes. No, that's the.
This is after Mr. Maple. We're gonna get there at 11:34. It's currently 11:16.
Okay, so we're getting close.
Right. It's not that west of Charlotte. When I lived in Monroe, Dad and I had reasons to come to Gastonia quite often, actually.
Sure.
It was not that far. Well, if you were going to drive to Charlotte anyway, going over to Gastonia, it was like, it's like saying I'm going to go to Raleigh, but I'm stopping in Garner on the way.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I was trying to show him the city, but maybe on the way home tonight, I'll be more on the ball and we'll get a better view. We got off I-85 at 11:30. I'm just monitoring for how long it takes to get in and out of this supercharger, as when Don used it, he was already down here and doing stuff with Johnny, and he wasn't traveling through and trying to get to it. So this is our first experience with using it really as a stopping point on a destination someplace else. But it's just a couple turns. It's less than a mile, so it shouldn't be too problematic.
Yeah, it was like a shopping center.
It's all about stoplights, though, and we're sensitive to time on off.
Really well.
Wow, she's bossy about getting left to save time and putting the turn signal on to get back over. Me and her, we don't drive the same. I just stay in my lane and wait for my turn.
Right.
So it's, you know, it's a little bit over here, but it's not.
Well, it also depends on where we go back. If we have
right.
to double back.
If we have to make all those left turns to go back, we'll figure that out when we leave here. But yeah.
If we can go this way a little bit more, then jump back on there, head in this direction, then it won't be inconvenient.
Yeah.
But,
we've made 2 right turns so far.
Right. And it was we've come about a mile down. We're probably a mile and a half total distance from the thing. Yeah, I'm vaguely remembering.
Yeah, we had to turn off the road that we were on onto another road.
Yeah, I came in from that direction when I came.
Right, the heart of Gastonia, whereas we just entered the Gastonia city limits there. I see it. Wow, there's 4 Teslas charging, at least.
Yeah.
It's pretty busy for Gastonia on I guess it is technically a holiday weekend, but there's room for us, so that's good.
There's stuff over here. Now let's see what she's going to do. Is she going to back us into one of these?
Oh, there's more than I thought there was.
Right,
You're just going to stop and park us? Yeah, we don't need to fart around with picking a spot and taking a while.
Yeah.
This supercharger is relatively new.
Yes.
I'm going to say it's been here a year.
Right, I agree. I can't exactly see.
So we're currently at 34%. John just plugged us in. 11 minutes remaining to continue trip, but we're going to walk to this McDonald's and use the restroom. So we're probably going to be here 20 minutes. That's Walmart up there, just mentioning. I've never seen a supercharger in technically a Walmart parking lot. So that particular McDonald's has the restrooms locked, and they say they only want to unlock it for paying customers. The women's lock was broken, but Don had to get somebody to open the men's side for him. So if you're not going to eat at McDonald's, I guess you should walk to the Walmart or the Best Buy, probably. Plus, it's not good crossing the street here, really. It's not meant for pedestrian crossing. As if no one would ever, want to cross there. It is what it is. So this supercharger location is not going to get an A from us, and I would say we probably, on the way home, if it gives us other options, we'll probably take them.
I wouldn't recommend.
Yeah, if we're here a little longer, we don't have to stop in Gastonia. But stopping someplace in Charlotte might be worse than this, because some of those are not the best chargers either. Guess we're just spoiled. This one's okay, but not great. Does what you need it to, though. If we stop here this afternoon, I feel sure Don would get an unsweetened iced tea or a coffee from the McDonald's. It's just in this particular instance, we didn't need that. Yeah, so we're going to keep our rating a B and not go down to a C. because it is 2 right turns leaving here, immediately back up on 85, and then 85 goes into South Carolina, so we'll stay on 74 west because we're continuing west and not heading down into, here, trying to get the camera, not heading down into South Carolina. So we'll be on 85 for just a minute more, trying to get it on there just a little short ways more, and then we'll just be on 74 west. But because we can get out of here with 2 quick right turns and right back up on the interstate, this stays as an acceptable charger for us and not a to be avoided charger. The way we have enough charge to leave 6 minutes until we're up to 80%. We're just eating, so we're not moving yet. We're done eating. We've unplugged. Somehow the charging stuff went away in a heartbeat.
I'm sorry.
Nothing you did. $14.05, and we were here for 25 minutes. Yeah. It says we started at 11:35.
But we weren't, that's as fast as we could have went. We had to go to use the facilities and come back.
Yep.
There was no wasted time here. We didn't twiddle our fingers once.
Well, also, since it has us charging here again on the way out as our other stop, unless it changes its mind, Don just figured we're going to charge as long as we're going to charge. The first stop of the day, you can overcharge because theoretically you're charging less later in the day. So we might be a little more surgical later today. Besides, Don and I had nodded again that if the home says 10% and we're coming by Siler City and it looks good to go, we keep going. And if not, we do a 5 minutes in Siler City and then we go. So it's, you know, Siler City is such an easy on-off for us for a short charge, so we just don't have to be actually too surgical about it or worry about having a cushion, I guess. It makes a cushion less desirable, less needed, less convenient, whatever you want to use. You're going over there and then right at out by the McDonald's, I think will be fine to get us back on track. You know, that first turn, it never tells you exactly how to turn well.
Well, yeah, and she didn't exactly pick the right turn either, as far as I was concerned.
Yeah, they got to stop over there. It's got to be, yeah, right onto Franklin Street. We're all good now. Yeah, so basically this is right in between the 2 exits. And go, 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 car. Right in between the 2 exits. And so you come in on one exit and you go out on the exit that's farther in the direction you were headed. So pretty easy.
Yeah, it's from a distance or point of view, you're not wasting a lot of going extra distance. You might be wasting a little time because it's got traffic lights and you're only doing 35. You know, it isn't quite as convenient as this bang bang, but at least from adding miles to your trip, it doesn't really add any significant amount. You know, it isn't like the one at Mallard Creek where you got to drive a couple miles.
That one's much worse.
Much worse. Or the one at
Burlington. Yeah, much worse. So if you're wondering, it's 84 more miles to Mr. Maple. We're going to get there at 1:26 p.m. now. Like I said, they're open until 4, so that's totally within the ballpark. We lost probably about 5 minutes, but then we, just in general, rounding averages maybe, but 10 extra minutes at the supercharger than we were originally scheduled for, so.
Yeah, but hopefully that'll get us 10 minutes. We'll get that 10
on the way
back.
Yeah, this afternoon. It still has us stopping back in Gastonia on the way coming through with an arrival at the supercharger of 27%. And Don tried to look to see what else was available and basically came to the conclusion that we're just probably stopping back in Gastonia because all the other superchargers are really, there's one in the middle of the city, but it's on I-77, and all the others are north of the city. And they're not really any better than Gastonia. We don't want to go to Mallard Creek if we don't have to. So here's where we get on 74 West towards Kings Mountain. I don't think I've ever been to Kings Mountain. When I lived east of Charlotte in Monroe for all those years while I attended high school and went to college at UNCC. I don't remember ever going any farther west on 74 than Gastonia. There were things we did in Gastonia, but not, I don't even know what attractions are at Kings Mountain or whatever. But obviously they were on WSOC, they were on the news all the time, the Charlotte news. Things happening over this way. They're in the service area for the Charlotte station. So, well, just like 74 East that goes through Monroe, 74 West out this way is not a closed access road, and there are some stoplights. So, but we're, it's not too bad congested today, so we're fine. The naked eye can see some of the Appalachian Mountains off in the distance now for the first time on the trip. I figured we would. I mean, Flat Rock is basically south of Asheville, so it's got to be a little mountainous there because Asheville certainly is. But anyway, we're just moseying along. Well, that's the best view of the mountains we've had so far. We're still a little bit out, about 30 minutes out now. Well, I had high hopes this last hour of the trip would be a good sightseeing adventure, and yeah, we're in the mountain chain now, and it's pretty fun to look out the window. When you live where it's 175 feet above sea level, when you get over here, it's a significant difference. Because we're slightly closer to the coast than we are to the mountains. But that's the great thing about Raleigh. You've got the coast is 3 hours away, 2.5 hours away, and the mountains are 4 to 5 hours away. And so you can really travel to either pretty easily. But yeah, we're 15 minutes out now. What I wanted to show you was how close we are to South Carolina. Pretty close. And there's some place over here called the Gorge Zip Line. That sounds a little scary. I like tall platforms, but I don't like that thought of skydiving or being on a zip line. That doesn't feel okay to me. But we just passed a Model X and there's a Model 3. Under a mile now.
Yeah.
Seeing quite a few crepe myrtles. I would say their trees are a little behind ours back over in the central part of the state. Ours are pretty much done now. That's a July thing for us. What is it? It's September 1st today. Don did read his meters, by the way. I expect it to be a little bit like Broadwell's.
Yeah.
And that means lots of greenhouses, and yep, there's greenhouses.
Yeah, I'm just gonna drive from here.
Yep, I'd say it's a bit like Broadwell's. Wow, look at the greenhouses. So basically park someplace, look on the website for prices, check in over there to get some numbers, and yeah. So they're able to let me pick up my order, no problem. They're headed to get it. And there's several 100,000 trees here, and we're going to take a look at some of these greenhouses. I want to know where Fireball is, and I want to know where Blue Moon is. Looks like a tall Sharp's pygmy, but it's too tall for that. Shigushashara or something. Yeah, I should just not try to pronounce anything in here today. Oh my god, there's so many maples. It's great. Here's Emperor 1. This is the tree we have at the street that has the, such beautiful stained glass looking leaves when the sun hits it right.
Yeah.
That's what that tree is. One day may my orangeola look like this. They're nice looking trees. So I'm out of luck on a Blue Moon, less than 10 gallons, and no fireballs on site. But, so that begs the point of, well, what would I want to get then? So I'm walking. Oh, here's our red bud, Donnie. Our flamethrower. Here's our flamethrower, which we got from Mr. Maple delivered. Look at how pretty. I am salivating. Honestly, I am. I got this huge smile. My only problem is, if I really want to pick out one while I'm here, is trying to figure in this overwhelming amount of maples what else I would like to take home, because usually when I buy them on the website, you know, I've spent a lot of time figuring that out. This is peeve starfish. See how it looks like a starfish shape? Yeah, greenhouse after greenhouse after greenhouse of beautiful Japanese maples. Well, I'm not overwhelmed, but I am. God, it's so muddy back through there. I'm not going in the mud. Too much mud that way, Donnie. Yeah, all these ones with the really dense, compact foliage are Yatsubisa somethings. Mikawa Yatsubisa being the predominant one. Don't make fun of me if I'm not saying it right. I'm doing the best I can. Well, I have 3 possibilities. And I am coming back over to the first greenhouse I went in where I saw one that I thought was beautiful. I need to compare it. Well, smiles all the way around here today. I was telling Mr. Maple Matt that every time I unbox or get a delivery at the house, I unbox it and I show everybody my new maple tree and I talk about where it came from, and we slip the FedEx driver a little bit so we keep him happy.
It's good bribery sometimes.
Well, he treats them like gold.
Yeah,
Let me trust me, he does.
He's walked the yard with me, so you can have a good relationship. But I was telling Mr. Maple Matt that I was so happy to get to visit in person today, and I'm trying to help sell his trees just like I try to help sell Teslas.
Hey, we appreciate y'all being here today. Thanks for making it. It's, the weather's held out. It's been a great day.
It's a beautiful day,
And I didn't know we were Lego collectors, so I'm a big Lego fan.
Yeah, Lego collectors.
He likes superhero stuff.
I got too many collections. I'm a hoarder extraordinaire.
When you're a collector, you understand other collectors. Donnie's not a collector, but he understands.
My wife calls it hoarding. I like to call it collecting. I like to call it collect. It's a little nicer.
Exactly.
She's not a keeper of things. She doesn't understand my need for all these things.
Well, Don collects cardboard boxes. So whenever I need to pack stuff up, I'm all set. But so tell them, how long's Mr. Maple been around?
So it's been our 50th year since Nichols Nursery or Mr. Maple. My dad did this as a hobby before me. I've been doing this full time since 2008. So my brother and I do MrMaple.com. We do the largest selection of Japanese maples in the world. We do over 1,500 different varieties here. Probably a little more than that if we started counting. We do retail through MrMaple.com and wholesale through Buckholtz Nursery in Oregon. So we've really been blessed to grow here, and just something we get crazy about and fired up about. We love going around talking about trees. So.
They may do another open house this year before the leaves are gone, like end of October. So it would be peak leaf season up here.
So watch their website.
Yeah, we'll make an announcement on Mr. Maple for sure.
So
Mr. Maple friends.
Watch and see what's going on. If you like what you saw and you want to come in person, and you're
it's worth the trip.
Not local. Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
We get people from all over. It's crazy. Last year we had some folks come in from LA. I think LA is the record right now. And last year I was like, we had 2 people show up from California, and I gave them both their choice of tree. I was like, you drove here from California. You tell me any tree you want, I'll go get it right now.
I have seen a few people in the chat group talking about driving cross country with the trees in the back of the minivan. So that's Well, thank you so much.
Real honor to have you here. Thanks for having us.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, Matt. Appreciate it, buddy.
So there are 5 total. Remember, it's wholesale prices. Okay. There were the 2 that I ordered last week and 3 I picked out today. I was going to buy 1, and then I thought 2, and then the one Don wanted was different than the one I wanted. So we got 3. So, you know, we had to be sort of efficient up there with getting in and getting out because of the going to see Johnny and the length of the day and all of that. But you looking for your drink? Okay, I'll get you one just a second. It's in the other one by my feet. All I was going to say is this is not the place to go for specimen just looking, right? If you want to get good, I'm going to say reasonable to wholesale prices on some Japanese maples and not pay for shipping, then you wait for one of their open houses and you come. They'll definitely do one in April. Matt said, you know, fall's nice, but maybe come back in April. From a Japanese maple perspective, everything is leafed out in its best color of the year, and April is the time to come. So I I may have to talk Dawn into April.
That makes them irresistible is what he was trying to tell you.
Well, they're already irresistible to some of us. Oh, yeah. That looks like maybe a tiny home. I don't know. So it's going on 3 p.m. and we're headed out. And it changed up that we don't need to supercharge in Gastonia. We can now supercharge near the Lego store on the other side of the university if we want to. We would rather it would get us back to Salisbury, but that's like another 30 or 40 miles, and I don't think we obviously don't have that. So I'm gonna let Dawn decide back at Gastonia. It's 12% at that place that's sending us to, and we do have to do a little bit of driving around with Johnny, but it can always change to Mallard Creek. And the only reason why we don't like Mallard Creek is it's old supercharger, short, narrow parking spaces in front of a Harris Teeter and a really busy parking lot. So it's, you know, I mean, it will charge the car, but it's just not our favorite. So I'll let Dawn decide if we're stopping before or after Johnny. Well, darn it, I was too slow with the camera again. Kings Mountain is right over top of those trees, and you can see it a lot more distinctly driving east than you could see it driving west. So we're approaching Gastonia, and we have decided to go ahead and stop and supercharge here with the thought that we probably need to use the restroom about the time we get to Thomasville. So we're just going to give us a little bit more cushion to keep the air conditioner on and the plants happy and to take Johnny to dinner. Because we don't have those things plugged in and we know we need, you know, a few more miles. But anyway, there's Kings Mountain. And it's just, I guess it's the last real part of the Appalachian Mountains before you're in Charlotte and you're like officially not in the mountains anymore.
Yeah.
It's like a straggler mountain off away from the mountain chain.
Yeah, I would agree. That sounds reasonable.
We're here in Gastonia. It's 4:35. We're plugging in. We've changed plans slightly with Johnny. We're now bringing food to the apartment. It's a homework kind of a night. We totally understand. So 20 minutes remaining to continue trip, and it thinks we don't have to stop again between here and home. Besides, we're currently minus 40% arrival at home, and we're picking up juice, and it's not planning on making us stop again. We'll probably stop one time on the way home after University Crossing. So we have to charge for like a minimum of 10 minutes, and we need to use the restroom. So we're walking up to Walmart since McDonald's wasn't very friendly.
But it's uphill.
Yeah, but then it's downhill on the way back.
Ah, that's what it is.
Yeah, and this, like I said, the shopping center is not designed for pedestrians pretty much to walk anywhere. I told Dawn we had to spin the store. If I were tempted to get any Legos, I certainly wouldn't be getting any Legos having to go ask somebody to come and open it up. Nope. So $15.89 says we arrived at 4:35 p.m. and it's just now 5:01, so 25 minutes, 23 minutes, something like that is probably what we charge for. Definitely we walking around Walmart added 5 to 7 minutes to us being there. I didn't buy anything. I told Dawn I like to go into different Walmarts and look at their clearance and see what they've got. That store was really big and really busy, but didn't have a lot of clearance to sort through. I did find the clearance aisle. This huge warehouse over here on the right is Amazon, and I mean it's huge. Also, we got a lot of planes flying overhead. We're coming up into downtown Charlotte, and the airport's on the south side. Charlotte Douglas International Airport. There goes an airplane. They're all taking off and coming over the interstate first thing. There's a double takeoff. And we just witnessed that a minute ago. I mean, like they're just boom, boom, boom right now. But yeah, I saw Amazon on the side of the building, and I also saw trucks with the Amazon logo in the parking lot. So looks like, you know, similar to the one we visited up in Richmond area. The Culver's Double Bacon Deluxe. It was a very quick in and out. We've left all the stuff that we intended to bring Johnny with Johnny. He dug into his Culvers and really hard pressed on the homework thing and working hard. So we did not stay long, but we did refresh our coffees.
That's right.
Johnny got a hug and his stuff, which is very important, and we got coffee.
That's right.
It was a little more congested than your normal weekend day getting back onto 85, but not that bad. And I just ended our trip and put in home to see what it said, and it shows getting home at 13%.
Yeah, which is fine.
Which is fine. So like I said, we always have Siler City to decide we want to stop at if we're not liking the numbers when we get there. 8:52. Yeah, well, we didn't spend as much time with Johnny as we had planned. We didn't overspend at Mr. Maple either, by the way.
No,
I think we were
efficient,
yeah, I mean, we might could have walked down the hill to those greenhouses down in the other direction, but you know, the only other thing of interest I would try to see if we were to go back in October or April to another open house sometime would be where they actually do the grafting and potting. Was there any part of the more of the operation that there was to see? I think there was obviously a lot more there than what was just in those greenhouses up at the front. And I did see some video and pictures from this morning, and the cars were parked down on the street and they were all the way down the road at 8 a.m. I guess people were looking for something called a tree called marmalade, and there were a few coveted rare ones they were hoping to find, and I think Mr. Maple probably had a few of them scattered about for people to find. But then we also heard that one person actually went down in the mud this morning trying to hustle in to look for trees. So I didn't have oh my God. I mean, I wanted a Blue Moon or a Fireball that were in a 1 or 2 gallon size. I would have been willing to pay for a 2 gallon. I don't have any 2 gallon trees from them, but I would have. The only Blue Moon they had was 10 gallons, and they didn't have any Fireball that they were aware of on the lot. So, but while they do a lot of their grafting there, they also do buy sometimes from other places the rare trees. So, checking out the 10 at 10, the weekly whammy, all of the times they put stuff up, I might run into one of those trees at some point in the future. So anyway, I was just going to enjoy it not for oh my God, I got to get that coveted tree. So there was no need to get there at 8 a.m. or to rush in like it was Black Friday. That wasn't what I needed to do. Apparently, there's a supercharger right near where we are. We're here at the Lego. Lego is basically, well, you can't see because of the glare, but yeah, Lego is basically right in there, or between the Lowe's and the Kohl's. And there is a supercharger in there. That's zoomed in really close.
That's a terrible intersection up there.
Yeah, it might actually be Concord Mills Bass Pro Shops. I guess the Lego store is, I'm doing a terrible job of pointing at the screen. But anyway, Lego is in there and there's a supercharger nearby. It's called Panera Drive. So the supercharger's by the Panera Bread.
Yeah.
I'm going to say it must be pretty new because I've been in that mall several times, and one of the times I was down here by myself and I drove all around because I didn't know where to park for the Lego thing, and I wasn't aware of anything in there, so it must be pretty new. There's Dawn, happy that I snuck some Carver's ice cream into the Culver's ice cream into the car. It was
yummy.
Yeah, Reese's peanut butter cup mixed in with some vanilla, I guess.
Yeah.
It was good. We shared a pint. I just picked the route that takes us home on main roads down the expressway to the house because it's already 7:43 and we don't come in by the nuclear power plant, especially in the fall due to the deer at this time of the evening. So
once it gets dark, you don't go there.
Yeah, you just shouldn't. It's just not as safe. It's not. I mean, I'm sure we would be fine, but the car and the deer might not be, so let's just not put ourselves into that chance. I tend to talk less on the way home when I'm tired, but I haven't fallen asleep on Dawn because I made coffee for both of us at Johnny's apartment, and me my, you know, iced coffee. He had cream in the door and monk fruit in the cabinet, so Mom is happy. Mom will be bringing, oh, I knew he still had cream, but Mom will be making sure cream is available in the apartment for all of my visits. I think they're using it for sauces and stuff too. Johnny, the occasional coffee drink. Let's see, we're still on target to get home at 16%, and neither one of us has felt the need to stop. I think we said this before. Mornings, we both want to stop every 90 minutes, pretty much no matter what. This time of day, we may be okay to go for a little longer time. So
yeah, I agree.
And the sunset's pretty. I got a nice picture in the rear view, or the side mirror rear view of the sunset. It's nice. And let's see, we're down to 71 now. And yeah, I guess that's it. We're gonna get home 8:51. So let's say by 9 o'clock.
Yeah, because we got to do our pogo loop.
That's true. When we're getting back, and I didn't think about the boy. Look at you, just trying to earn more brownie points today.
Well, you gave me ice cream. The sugar stimulated my brain.
Yeah, it would be good not to break the route streak today. If we do the route 7 days in a row, it's a significant bonus, and we don't normally miss. Every once in a while, I'm not as I don't know what the right word is about it, but you know, back in the day, in the beginning, during COVID, I was a little less inclined to allow an occasional miss, but now I'm a little more laid back, I guess. That's where we're going to leave it, but I would rather not if we don't have to. Seems really weird that tomorrow is Tuesday and I'll be out shopping. I could use a Monday and then a Tuesday. That would be nice, but that's not happening. I feel really blessed to have had this nice day to spend with Dawn and to do something a little different than our normal thing, and it was very enjoyable. We're still listening to Project Hail Mary. Unfortunately, we're not going to finish it before we get home, but that's okay. We'll just have to come up with another destination here in the not too distant future and finish it up. Well, those boys in Holly Springs tonight, they're just pulling people over left and right. Wow, that car's got 3 cops on him. He must have really done something. Think he's hauling drugs or people or something. I don't know.
Well, part of it has to do with it's a holiday weekend.
Right.
And they're not gonna, they're expecting people that have been partying and now they're heading home. So now's the most likely time that they would be driving while impaired.
Sure. Yeah, we seen, there was a couple other stops prior to that one, so it was just kind of lit up over here on Highway 55. We're about 10-15 minutes from the house now. We came through South Park, we did pogo, and all of a sudden the car dropped my Bluetooth, because Don's phone's the default in his profile, obviously, so we've been all day, every time we get in, we've just been switching back to my phone. And then the car, for a little bit here, lost connectivity. I see it's back now, but it lost it. Yeah. And there is a major solar storm out there, which hopefully is going to stay at a G2, G3 and not become a G4, G5. But it's coming in stronger than they originally anticipated. And this is not crackpot stuff. This is NOAA and the official government scientists' data. Looking at it. So anyway, right now they said the main thing we might notice is GPS drift. Shouldn't affect the power grid, but we're going to be good with this sun stuff until we're not good. I guess knowing about it in advance doesn't really help, but when my power goes out here at the house, all I want to know is on my phone still works, and there are other people not too far away that still have power, and then I'm good. That's all I need to know. But if we lose power at the house and my phone isn't working, we got problems. That's right. We're home. It's 8:55 like we thought.
Yeah, 14%.
Yeah, we're at 14%. Okay, so it was very accurate. Slow for kitties. They may be on the driveway.
Sure.
Well, they hang out over here at night. They do.
I understand, kitten.
Okay. There's our Amazon package in front. We haven't had any other problems after that one driver, if you're wondering. I see Marty on the bench over there. We're going to unload the plants.
So, how do you feel after that 3.5-hour ride without stopping?
My bladder's fine, but I had a little trouble getting out of the car. My hips and my joints are a little sore.
So what you're saying is that stopping every one time on the way over there, one time back to and from Charlotte is a good thing.
I don't, right.
Just think if you were in the gas car, you could do it every time this way.
No, thank you.
Yeah, I think you agree with me.
Right. Well, we were I'm very stiff. My knees and my hips are sore. I had a little trouble getting out of the car.
We left Johnny's apartment and we didn't stop.
Yeah, he walked over here, he goes, Kitten, this is the first time we've gone between Johnny's place and here and not stopped, and that's true.
That's right.
And whichever car we had, Jules or Robot or Ruby,
whatever.
period.
Yeah.
And then I said, oh, and we supercharged on the south side of Charlotte.
Right.
That was a solid 30 minutes before we were at the apartment.
Right. Because we stopped at Culver's to eat a hamburger in the GMC when we came
Right.
back.
So what we're really saying is the efficiency of this new Model Y is good.
Yeah.
We got the efficiency is good, but I like stopping.
Yeah, that's
we were okay tonight. It was okay. We didn't have to stop, but I would prefer to stop.
Right.
And stretch one time between here and there.
I agree.